how should you construct your hypothesis, your research questions, okay, because that will be reflected, okay, in your chapter 4, okay, how you analyze your chapter 4, how you write your chapter 4. At the end of the day, when you submit your project for the individual assignment, okay, you should compile from chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 from your group assignment, and you continue to chapter 4, which is on the analysis, and also a brief conclusion, maybe a few pages on the conclusion. So you can have one complete project, okay, whereby for individual, I will only evaluate chapter 4 and chapter 5 lah, I mean for the conclusion. Okay, for the group assignment, is based on chapter 1, 2, and 3 lah. Okay, of course, okay, you also need to include the table of contents, both for the individual and also the group assignment, because when you outline the first 3 chapters, you need to include, okay, whatever figures, whatever tables, whatever abbreviations, okay, the standard format when you submit an assignment, you need to include the table of contents as well, including the references that you use. Okay, the only difference is that when you submit the full project for your individual assignment, okay, the references list may increase lah, okay, mungkin bertambah sebab you may add, you may want to refer to new articles in your chapter number 4 when you are writing your analysis, okay, and when you want to justify that your results, okay, apa yang kamu dapat dalam kajian kamu tu, okay, is similar or is also supported by other literatures, other research, okay, and that references are not currently included in your first 3 chapters punya group assignment tu, okay, you can add more references, okay, in your final submission for the group, I mean for the individual project, okay. So as I already mentioned before, you have no exam for your final, okay, only based on your group and also your individual assessment, okay. So that is what you are evaluated on lah, okay. And also not to forget your presentation, okay, your individual presentation, which account, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 20%, okay, of your query mark, okay, whereby the focus will be, I think you can go back to the WhatsApp message I sent before. The video should, the focus of the video presentation should highlight your problem statement, your research questions, what are the hypotheses, and of course on the results, okay. But you need to cover all of the 5 chapters lah, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay. But how you want to allocate your time, okay, the focus will be, more on chapter 1 and then more on chapter 4, okay. So literature review, you can do quite brief, okay, not too long, and also on chapter number 3, okay. So but today is not about that part is about how you should write your your ni lah. Okay, maybe what I will do is okay, if you open, okay, I will send these 2 files, okay, in your group WhatsApp. Let me okay, kejap ya. Okay, if you open your group WhatsApp tu, I send 2 files. Okay, 2 files for you to refer. Okay, I mean, actually this is based on today's lecture will be partly based on this. Okay, and I will also refer to some of your questionnaire. Okay, the one that you already resubmitted, okay, for the second time. Okay, I will just select a few groups, okay, nothing, just to highlight how you should actually reconstruct your research question. So let me share my screen now. Okay, so the file that I sent you just now ada 2 lah, satu hypothesis development, okay, and then the other one is apa dia tadi? Okay, the other one is how to write chapter 4. Okay, So this is basically based on one assignment, okay, from the previous semester, but I have deleted most of the part, okay, because what I want to highlight is just on the on chapter 4 especially, okay, and also chapter 1. Okay, so by now I think you should get the idea how you should write your research questions, okay, and also the RO lah, okay. RO is the research objective, RQ are the research questions. Okay, so I think I think one or two groups are doing similar title like this, but I think most of the groups you can follow similar style lah, okay, cara yang sama. Okay, so far what we have discussed, okay, the research question number 1 is about the demographic characteristics of your respondents, I mean of your population. Okay, and then number 2 here, okay, we want to look at gender differences. Okay, gender differences, whether gender play has any impact, okay, on, okay. So if you look at the other file here, hypothesis development. Okay, so this is for the hypothesis punya ni lah. Okay, never mind. We look at this this part here. Okay, tadi tu. Okay, so if you look at this particular example I gave you, so there are 4 research questions. Okay, previously I said you can have 3 to 4. Okay, so number 1 is basically a simple analysis. You can do the cross tabulation, simple pie chart, histogram, and whatnot. Okay, just to provide a summary of the characteristics. I mean the demographic section in your questionnaire, the part 1, okay, section A in your questionnaire, whereby usually the section A in the questionnaire will cover the background, okay, the background of your respondent. For example, okay, how many are male, female, the age group, okay, the background of the education. So this will be, the things that you want to cover in the RQ1 lah. Okay, so for RQ number 2 and RQ number 3 and also RQ number 4. Okay, so okay, number 2 here is on, we want to look at gender differences. Okay, and how does it affect? Okay, so for this particular assignment, and I think some of the groups also are doing similar topic. Okay, so yeah, depending on what topic that you are doing lah. So for this particular group, it focuses on consumer behavior. Okay, so this consumer behavior is actually the dependent variable. Okay, as part among other things lah. So there are some questionnaires, they are divided into dependent variable and also the independent variables. Okay, so the dependent variable for this particular, it's not compulsory you all kena ada dependent dengan IB lah, IB and DB. Tapi kalau you all ada construct macam tu pun tak ada masalah. Okay, you can follow something like this. So basically the for research question number 2 here, okay, so the student only one, so meaning that if you only mention one variable here, which is the consumer behavior, okay, so you want to use the t-test to examine the impact of whether gender differences has any impact on consumer behavior. Okay, so take note that number 2, number 3, number 4 are all based on your Likert skill sections. Okay, when you start asking when in your Google form, okay, in your questionnaires, okay, so you will have section A which cover the demographic, okay, which will be used to answer your mainly research question number 1 lah, the characteristics, the demographic characteristics. Okay, but then the rest of the section B, section C, okay, section D, and section E here are all based on the Likert skill. Okay, so for example here, okay, the tajuk here is about entrepreneurial intention, okay, and what are the factors that affect entrepreneurial intention. So you can see that from this title, entrepreneur ni will be the dependent variable lah, and apa faktor-faktor yang akan mempengaruhi intention to become usahawan. So if you look at this questionnaire, so I think 2 groups are doing something similar. Okay, and you look at section E here, okay, entrepreneur intention. So this is, in other words, quote unquote dia punya DV lah, dia punya dependent variable. Okay, because this is the main the other factors here will affect your decision to become usahawan lah. Okay, so but ada kumpulan yang mungkin tak ada format macam ni, dia tak ada DV and IB, just different Likert skill sections. Okay, dia ada faktor A, faktor B, faktor C. But if you have something like this, meaning that one of the Likert skill section represent your DV, okay, that can, meaning that you can just focus on the DV variable alone, or you can also include other independent variable, okay, as part of your analysis. Okay, let me show lah apa benda yang sebenarnya, takut you all tak faham pula. Okay. Okay, kalau tak faham, you all tanyalah. Saya buat video ni bukan untuk saya cakap seorang-seorang lah. Okay, nanti kalau you all tak faham ke, confused ke, whatever. Okay, so please, okay, use this platform to ask, because saya pun takkan ulang lah benda ni 2-3 kali lagi. Okay, so consumer behavior will be one of the Likert skill section, okay, from the questionnaire. Okay, so let me, okay, so, kejap tadi, yeah. Okay, okay. Okay, so di apa tu? Okay, so adakah faktor gender ni akan mempengaruhi consumer behavior? Okay, you can also have more than one. For example, will affect consumer behavior. Okay, let me kejap. Saya buka balik paper yang ada the original punya. Kejap lah. Give me. Ada soalan tak sekarang ni? Ke you all dengar ke, buat tak dengar ke apa berlaku sekarang tu? Okay. Okay, sorry for the kejap. Okay, ini inilah the original punya. Okay, so if you look at this questionnaire, so it's about the apa tu entrepreneurial intention. So you can see that the student divided according to the section B ada IV, financial risk, IV, privacy and risk. Okay, and then another section D, another IV, but then the last section, which is section E, the dependent variable lah, okay, consumer behavior. Okay, so meaning that ada bahagian, ada 4 B, C, D, 3 independent variables. Okay, section B, financial risk 1, privacy 2, and product risk 3. So 3 independent variables and 1 dependent variable lah, which is the main variable in question. Okay, so number 2 here, okay, do gender differences affect consumer behavior? Okay, so meaning that this is one of the, this is of course the main dependent variable lah. Okay, but I will encourage, okay, saya tak wajibkan lah, tapi okay, it may contribute to inilah dalam quality of your writing. Okay, dia tak banyak pun actually kalau you all nak tambah. Okay, so I will encourage student, okay, not just do for one variable, meaning just one section in your Likert skill. Okay, do gender differences affect consumer behavior? 1, okay, and then for example, you can also have you can select maybe all 3 pun tak apa. Okay, for example, you all nak ambil dalam case student ni lah, okay, financial risk. Okay, so I just put here financial risk, okay, comma, okay. So meaning that what I'm doing right now, okay, you are going to look at maknanya kamu akan buat 2 t-test lah kalau kamu letak 2 faktor sini. Okay, one is consumer behavior on using gender, okay, and another t-test you will look at gender differences on the financial risk punya factor. Okay, and you can also add, you are, kalau nak ikutkan, you are boleh buat ke semua dalam Likert skill tu pun tak ada masalah. Okay, and saya galakkanlah you all buat semua. Kalau tidak, you are not going to use the components in your Likert skill section tu. Okay, dia hanya akan, kalau dalam case ni daripada If you look at this particular project, okay, daripada section B, dia ada IB, financial risk, privacy, semua tu. Tapi in term of the T-test, kalau kamu hanya tengok pada consumer behavior lah, dalam konten ni ada 4 Likert scale. Okay, section E ni ialah dia punya DV. Okay, so if you based on this original punya research question, satu sajalah akan dipakai. Tapi I would also encourage you to include more than one lah. Maknanya contohlah dalam kes ni ada apa tadi tu, financial risk, okay, product risk for example, okay, you can also put here, okay, product risk, okay, product risk, okay, and lagi-lagi lah, okay. So meaning what I'm trying to show here is you can do multiple T-test, okay. Sebab T-test ni senang saja nak buat dalam your SPSS tu, okay. Because you just basically change the variable sahaja, okay. But what I'm trying, what I want you to actually display is how you interpret the result, okay. Sebab kalau based on what you see here, okay, if you only do one variable which is consumer behavior, so kamu takkan pakai yang lain-lain yang you all buat dalam questionnaire tu, macam membazir lah. Okay, a waste of orang kata information. You have the data, you have the information. Okay, of course dalam in a real punya research, kalau you all buat master level ke, buat journal paper ke, conference paper, memang kena pakai semua lah. Okay, but the purpose of this assignment is to teach you how to use the SPSS program, how to apply the T-test, how to interpret the output from the SPSS and also the T-test, so that you can answer your research questions, okay, correctly. So that is the purpose of this exercise, okay. Bukannya nak tengok you all boleh buat paper journal ke, paper conference ke, okay. But dia membazir lah. You all ada 4 Likert scale sections, but kalau you all hanya buat consumer behavior contohnya dalam case yang saya bagi ni, okay, meaning that the other 3 factors you all tak buat, okay. Sebab ini bukan regression, so dia bukan ada DV and IB. So dalam case ni tak ada masalah, you all boleh tengok pengaruh gender ke atas ke-4 Likert scale section, cuma letak koma je lah. Gender differences affect consumer behavior, financial risk, product risk and other ni lah components in your Likert scale tu, okay. For example here financial risk, dia ada lagi privacy and safety risk, so you can type here privacy and safety risk, okay, of the COB students, okay. So that will be your RQ number 2, meaning that walaupun satu RQ tapi ada beberapa isu yang you all boleh bincang lah. Maknanya you all boleh buat 4 T-test, okay, dalam satu research question, okay. And then number 4 pula, ini melibatkan ANOVA, okay, or the F-test, okay. So kita dah bincang juga sebelum ni, you all boleh pilih mana-mana bahagian dalam you all punya section A tu yang you all pecahkan kepada grouping yang sesuai lah. Contohlah grouping in term of school, yang kamu rasa ada makna lah, ada meaningful, ada meaning. When you split the analysis according to the groupings, okay, this one you can try and error, okay. Bila kamu buat contohlah, okay, dalam case ni for this particular group, okay, they choose academic school. Sekejap ya. Okay, bising pula dekat luar sana. Okay. So this one, okay, for this particular ni, dia gunakan different academic school. Why? Okay, in section A, saya rasa banyak you all buat benda yang sama lah. Kalau you all punya population tu is based on school ke, colleges ke, ataupun, so dalam kes ni yang nampak sesuai ialah colleges lah. Okay, and you all boleh juga mungkin bahagi kalau siapa yang buat tentang consumer expenditure, the impact of COVID on expenditure tu. Okay, whereby you can divide according to income level, okay, kategori pendapatan, income bawah 1,000 ke 2,000 dan sebagainya pun boleh juga. Okay, depending on what groupings that you feel are the most interesting grouping lah yang boleh kamu groupkan komponen. Okay, ethnic pun boleh, tapi mungkin ethnic ni dia tak berapa, sebab your sample size is quite small. So ethnic punya division ni maybe tak berapa relevant lah. Okay, so let's see lah, we stick to the school as what this particular example is. Okay, so yang atas ni hanya dua grouping which is gender. That's why kita hanya boleh buat t-test. Okay, but as what you know, ANOVA or F-test is designed when you are comparing more than two groups, 3 grup dan ke atas. Okay, so that's why dia ada beza antara t-test dan juga F-test. Okay, F-test or ANOVA, dia hanya buat untuk bila kamu nak membandingkan 3 dan ke atas kumpulan. Okay, so in this particular example, ada 6 school, maknanya ada 6 groups lah yang boleh nak dikaji. Okay, that's why I mention in your WhatsApp, I encourage you to have more than 50 sampel. Sebab kalau ada 6 groupings, okay, tapi kalau kamu hanya ada 50 sampel, mana cukup nak dapatkan, okay, berapa sangatlah kamu dah boleh letak sampel daripada TISA, berapa orang student, dia tak banyak. So when you want to run the analysis, memang takkan dapat result yang cantik lah. Okay, so that's why usually the sample size must be big, okay, more than 100. Then baru kita boleh nampak kesan kumpulan tu ke atas faktor yang you all nak kaji lah. Okay, so same as above here. Okay, maknanya this one gender, and we want to look at all of the Likert scale sections. Okay, consumer behavior, financial risk, product risk, and whatever lah sections that you have in your Likert scale. Okay, section B. So kamu boleh buat beberapa F-test. Okay, not just one F-test. Okay, dalam kes contoh ni, academic school is the grouping, and the student want to look at again just one factor, which is consumer behavior sahaja. Maknanya F-test yang berlaku dalam assignment ni hanya melihat kepada kesan pengaruh whether academic school punya grouping tu memberi kesan ataupun tidak ke atas consumer behavior. Okay, meaning that you are only doing one F-test. Okay, but you can also add the other factors. Okay, as beside the maknanya boleh masukkan ke semua section lah dalam you punya Likert scale tu. Okay, section B, section C, section D. Okay, whatever groupings, whatever Likert scale section yang ada. So maknanya kamu akan buat beberapa F-test lah, mungkin 3 ataupun 4 F-test untuk menjawab research question number 3. Okay, meaning that number 3 ni kita masih lagi fokus kepada akademik, tetapi melihat ke faktor academic school tu ke atas consumer, financial, product risk and other lah, okay, yang merujuk kepada the Likert section that you have in your questionnaire. Okay, meaning that tak adalah you all punya analisis terlampau pendek sangat, sebab kalau satu saja consumer behavior, you will end up with just one t-test. Okay, sebab markah untuk assignment ni besar, 40%. Okay, that's why saya minta lebih lah. Kalau markah dia kecil ke 20% ke, and you have final exam as what we initially planned di awal semester, then tak apa. Tapi sebabkan you all dah tak ada exam dan pemberat 100% semua terletak kepada assignment saja, which is your group and also your individual assignment. Okay, so that's why I expect more analysis in your chapter 4 lah. Okay, to make up that 40% punya component. Okay, for your individual project. Okay, especially lah individual means chapter 4 and chapter 5 lah. Okay, so please do this. Okay, sebab kalau tidak hanya ada satu F-test saja yang you all akan bincang dan tak banyak you all boleh explain. Okay, apa dia, Lim?
Doktor, saya nak tanya, if we need to edit for the research questions for questions 2 and 3.
I mean, just do this way. Just letak comma je lah. Consumer behavior, comma, financial risk, comma. Macam tu lah.
So for our research objective also need to change.
Yeah, I mean, sama sajalah. Dia just tukar sikit sajalah. Bukan tukar, just tambah sajalah faktor-faktor yang you all nak kaji tu saja.
Oh, okay.
Okay, dia bukan ubah, bukan completely change, because initially I think earlier this semester I only request maybe one factor saja, but because the plan was that akan ada final exam. Okay, but then since we have changed the format into macam sama masa sebelum masa COVID ni, which is tak ada final exam, so that the carry mark ataupun the component for your evaluation tu becomes bigger lah. So only one factor nak kaji untuk menggunakan t-test for me is a bit too little lah. Okay, tak banyak sangat markah, tak banyak benda yang boleh you all bincang. Jadi dia tak ada apa benda tu dari segi, bukan just ulang benda yang sama, cuma pada faktor yang berbeza. Okay, so just to make your analysis lebih banyak sahajalah. Okay, maybe you find one factor ni dia significant, ada faktor yang tak significant. Okay, contohnya maybe financial risk significant, tapi consumer behavior tak significant misalnya. Okay, so Itu sajalah. And then maybe bila you all buat write up, boleh compare dengan kajian-kajian yang lepas, mana yang mungkin kajian yang the previous studies, maybe consumer behavior memang lazimnya tak signifikan ke, ataupun financial risk biasanya tak signifikan ke, dan sebagainya lah. Okay, whatever it is just to increase the amount of the analysis. Okay, so that dia berbaloi lah dengan markah 40% yang saya nak bagi pada setiap pelajar lah. Okay. So, so this one F-test on number 3. Okay, so saya ingat ini dah clear, saya cuma minta you all tambah, gunakan ke semua Likert skill section yang ada lah. Okay, so katakan dalam kumpulan, okay, misalnya kumpulan, kejap. Okay, so let's say saya buka kumpulan berapa ni. Okay, this one. Kumpulan apa? Okay, ini kumpulan 2. Okay, impact of household expenditure. Okay, so if you look at the questionnaire here, mana dia questionnaire? Okay, so dalam questionnaire, okay, dia ada implication of government policy. Okay, apa tu, and then dia ada household and income during COVID, ni lah. So ada B section household spending sampailah section E, government policy. So ada 4 Likert skill section. Okay, so maknanya bila nak buat apa tu 2 dengan 3 ni pun samalah. Do gender differences, okay, have a significant impact on all of the 5 apa tu the 4 Likert skill sections lah. Dia mungkin nampak pelik sikit lah, tak berapa cantik bila tulis dalam you all punya RQ, panjang sangat. Okay, tetapi apa tu, ini just for the sake of practice saja, untuk latihan. Okay, bukannya sebab saya nak bagi you all familiar dengan the t-test, how to interpret, okay, how to do the analysis. Okay, maybe when you tengok paper journal memang tak buat cara macam ni lah. Okay, mungkin diorang buat regression, okay, membuat kajian-kajian yang lain menggunakan different methods. Okay, but for me is just about practicing on using the t-test. Okay, because kalau hanya satu saja, okay, consumer behavior ataupun tentulah dalam kes katakan kumpulan ni, okay, on kumpulan ni, kumpulan 1. Okay, katakan you all hanya pilih untuk D saja, household income. Okay, maknanya bahagian lain takkan pakai lah. Okay, takkan pakai untuk living standard, you all tak pakai untuk spending. Okay, so let's say in your for group 1, you only put do gender differences affect let's say apa tu, affect household spending here. Okay, so let's say I put here affect household spending, household spending. Okay, and then the rest tak ada. Okay, meaning that you are only looking at only one of the factors dalam you all punya kajian lah. Okay, let's say meaning that you are only doing one t-test only for household spending. Sedangkan dalam you all punya Likert skill section ada lagi bahagian lain. Okay, ada lagi bahagian living standard. Okay, ada lagi bahagian income. Okay, ada lagi bahagian government policy. Okay, mungkin tak payahlah nak ambil semua sekali, jangan ambil dia punya keyword saja, government policy, income. Okay, so meaning that if you just choose one, you end up going to discard, takkan pakai yang lagi 3 Likert skill section, which is membazir lah. Okay, so here you can put here household spending, okay, household income, okay, and then government policy. Okay, meaning that all of the Likert skill sections, meaning kamu akan buat 4 t-test lah untuk melihat faktor kesan gender. Okay, dalam kes kalau tajuk you all macam mana kumpulan 1 ni lah, which is on the household expenditure ni. Okay, the impact of household expenditure during COVID-19. Okay, so maknanya kalau you all letak 4 faktor untuk gender, sama jugalah untuk nombor 3. Okay, maknanya ulang balik benda yang sama lah. So kalau ada 4 faktor kat sini, just repeat the same factor but now you are doing F-test melihat kepada faktor academic school saja. Okay, so nampak macam tak berapa. Yelah, just nak tengok sama ada pengaruh bila you group your sample or your respondent. Okay, misalnya kumpulan 1 ni, the groupings in the section A tu, okay, let's say you can also group according to income level ataupun district, for example, okay. So you can group your respondent. So for example, dalam kes kumpulan satu, bukan academic school, but let's say do different districts, for example, okay, or different income level, okay, districts, or do different income level, okay, affect consumer, affect household spending, household income, government policy and whatnot lah. Okay, so apa itu yang saya nak you all buat lah, maknanya number 1 gender, RQ number 2 tu gender, number 3 ni depend on ni lah, bergantung kepada mana grouping yang menarik untuk you all nak buat, colleges, school ke, income level ke, point CGPA pointer ke. Tapi di bahagian belakang ni letaklah 3 atau 4 liquid skill sections yang you all ada dalam questionnaire. So maknanya akan ada beberapa T-test dan juga beberapa F-test or ANOVA yang you all akan buat dalam RQ2 and RQ3. Okay. So yang nombor 4 ni pula, okay, ini ialah menggunakan correlation test, okay, Pearson Spearman correlation. Kalau you all tengok pada file yang saya bagi ni, okay, and you all buka dekat bahagian ni 4.7 ni ada Pearson correlation analysis. Okay, so benda ni okay, cuma apa yang sudah ni buat dia pecahkan untuk setiap 2 faktor, tapi actually you all boleh buat serentak. Kesemua faktor tu boleh kaji terus dalam satu analisis, tak payah nak pecah-pecahkan dua macam ni. Okay, kalau you all tengok pada thesis dalam Google Drive tu, okay, ada beberapa thesis juga yang membuat yang menggunakan Pearson punya analysis, but they don't split sikit-sikit, dia buat one big table, ada ke semua variable tu serentak. Okay, I think you all boleh cari thesis yang dalam tu lah, saya pun tak ingat which one apa dia mana tu. Okay, tak apa. Okay, so okay, yang ni okay, so yang nombor 4 ni tadi, okay, patah balik dekat sini, RQ number 4 ni, okay, to examine the relationship. Okay, saya bagi kuning sebab ini word yang you all boleh pakai lah. To examine the relationship between, yang ni ke semua you all punya liquid skill tu. Financial risk, privacy, safety risk, product risk and consumer. Maknanya ada 4 liquid skill sections. So akan ada 4 lah faktor. Kalau dalam kes ni, contohlah dalam group 1 ni, you all buat tentang government, tentang household punya expenditure ni, okay. So boleh tengoklah sama ada, is there any relationship between household spending, living standard, okay, and then and also household income, okay. Government policy ni mungkin tak berapa sesuai sebab dia bukannya, dia macam dah lain daripada yang the first 3, okay. Maybe you all boleh buat 3 saja, okay. Ada tak is there any relationship to examine the relationship between household income, household spending and living standard, okay, among inilah among apa tu the Kedah punya population tu lah. Okay, dalam kes you all ni, you all buat tentang Kedah kan, yang group 1 ni. Okay, so tambah lagi satu RQ, which is this one on using Pearson correlation test tu. Okay, sebelum ni saya hanya minta 3 saja. Okay, number 1 demographic, menggunakan simple analysis. Okay, number 2 ni menggunakan T-test. Number 3 menggunakan F-test or ANOVA. Okay, but then add one more, which is looking at simple Pearson correlation analysis. Okay, so this can be done also very easily in the SPSS. Okay, so any question so far? Ada soalan tak? You all ni senyap saja. Bila jumpa face to face barulah senang nak bersembang. Bila you all buat dalam Webex semua pakai hilang terus, tak tahu apa jadi. Okay, ada soalan saya proceed je lah. Okay, so ada 4 research question. Okay, sorry, yang ni objektif, sorry. So inilah, yang ni research question lah. Okay, so do financial risk. So basically ini semua ialah dalam liquid skill sections. Kalau ada 4 liquid skill section yang sesuai, bukan, janganlah macam kumpulan 1 ni, maybe yang government policy ni mungkin kurang sesuai lah, nak dikombinekan sekali dengan dengan D ni, dengan bahagian lain. Okey, terpulanglah you nak buat pun tak apa, tak nak buat pun tak apa. Okey, tengoklah macam mana. Okey, tapi basically number 2 t-test, number 3 ni f-test or ANOVA, number 4 ni is Pearson correlation analysis. Okay, so if you got 4 RQ means you gonna have 4 RO lah. Okay, research objective. Okay, di bahagian hujung chapter number 2, okay, you will need to put your research hypothesis. Okay, so ini you all akan tulis di bahagian penghujung chapter number 2. Okay, sebelum you all masuk bab ketiga. Okay, towards the end of chapter number 2, you can have one subsection called research hypothesis. Okay, so you can refer to some of the thesis in the Google Drive. Okay, ada dia bukan ada standard format. Bila you all kena tulis dekat mana patut tulis hypothesis. Ada yang letak pada chapter 1 pun ada. Okay, ada yang letak pada chapter 3 pun ada. Okay, but I would prefer that everyone to follow this style. Letak pada penghujung chapter nombor 2. Okay, so you can refer to some of the thesis in the Google Drive tu. Okay, mana dia? Okay, I think let me see. Which one? Okay, you can see here dia letak dekat chapter 2 juga, tapi bukan di hujung lah. Okay, ada setengah tu letak dekat hujung. Just towards the end of apa tu? Pun tak ada. Pun tak ingat mana satu. Okay. So for example here ada yang ni pun sama jugalah. Okay, dia letak H3 ada significant, yang ni pun ada hypothesis dia juga. Okay. So you can follow, you can go through the Google Drive and see okay, some of the thesis, okay, they follow this style. Towards the end of the chapter number 2, okay, and then you write your research hypothesis. Okay, so in this file, I already shown you how you should write your hypothesis according to yang you all biasa belajar. Okay, dekat dalam thesis online dan dalam Google Drive sana, saya tak berapa suka style tu lah. Okay, dia maknanya in the thesis, the master thesis that you find dekat internet tu, I mean dekat Google Drive tu. Aduh. Ni. Awak ni. Okay, so okay, if you look at the thesis dekat dalam Google Drive, okay, cara mereka menulis hypothesis, dia tak ada H0, dia tak ada null, dia tak ada HO, H1. Okay, tapi masa you all belajar pengantar stat dulu, okay, hypothesis dia ada the null hypothesis and also the alternate hypothesis, HO dengan juga H1. So that's how I want you to write your apa tu inilah, I want you to write your H1 and H0. Maknanya contoh dekat sini yang saya letak dekat you all punya file yang saya bagi tu. Okay, macam student semester lepas dia hanya letak, they say hypothesis 1, there is significant difference of consumer behavior among genders. Okay, sebab ini yang RQ number 1 tu, IQ number 2 kalau you all ingat balik. Research question number 2 ialah melihat pengaruh gender ke atas consumer behavior. Okay, but okay, kita akan tukar kepada H0, H0A, okay, null hypothesis. Untuk A maknanya kita ada beberapa hypothesis. There is no significant difference. H1 alternate hypothesis, there is significant difference. So ada yang this one no, null akan tak, null tu maknanya tak ada difference lah. Okay, kalau you reject the hypothesis, you reject the null hypothesis means there is significant difference. Okay, so the way I put it here, okay, kita tak perlu nak buat banyak hypothesis. Okay, for example, financial risk. Okay, dalam kes kalau you all ingat balik, dekat RQ number 2 tadi, saya kata you all boleh buat more than one faktor. Okay, household spending, household income, okay, government policy, for example, or consumer behavior, depending lah apa you all punya Likert skill. Okay, yang katakan you all ada 4 faktor dalam you all punya Likert skill, maknanya akan ada 4 t-test. Bila ada 4 t-test, means akan ada 4 hipotesis testing lah, sebab satu test, satu hipotesis. Untuk household spending, satu hipotesis, household income, ada, because each of the t-test akan ada satu hipotesis. Okay, sama juga dengan ANOVA. Untuk satu ANOVA testing, for example, for consumer behavior, satu hipotesis. Okay, and for financial risk, satu lagi hipotesis. For product risk, satu lagi hipotesis. Maknanya, untuk ANOVA pun, kalau you all ada buat 4 ANOVA testing, min akan ada 4 hipotesis untuk setiap test yang you all akan buat tu. Okay, jadi dalam chapter 2 tu, towards the end of chapter 2, when you want to write down your hypothesis, okay, so maknanya kalau dalam kes t-test, gender differences tu, okay, ingat balik dalam gender differences, kalau ada you all buat 4 t-test, okay, pengaruh gender ke atas financial, pengaruh gender ke atas privacy risk, kalau katakan ada 4 faktor, so you all akan ada HOA, H1A, lepas tu dia akan ada HOB, H1B. So akan ada banyaklah you all punya hipotesis. Katakan dalam kes t-test, you all kena buat apa tu, okay, contohlah saya buat kat sini, there is no significant difference of financial risk, okay, among genders, okay, and then sama juga kat sini, ini akan jadi hipotesis yang pertama HOA dan juga H1A lah, okay, yang ni null hypothesis, yang ni alternate hypothesis, okay, and then you are going to write another hypothesis, okay, this time around sama juga, still on gender tapi bukan lagi financial risk. Let's say this one is privacy risk. Okay, so ini juga sama, privacy risk. Okay, so maknanya kalau and then ulang balik benda yang sama, you all akan ada 3 ataupun 4 lah hipotesis untuk gender. Okay, remember dalam kes apa tu, katakan apa tu, dalam kes pelajar tadi ni, okay, let's say tadi ada apa yang tadi, okay, dia ada privacy risk, okay, dia ada financial risk, dia juga ada product risk, for example here, okay, so ulang balik benda yang sama, okay, ini akan ada product risk, sama jugalah. Basically what you are doing is every test yang you all buat, yang ni mana ini pun t-test, ini pun t-test, oh no, sama ni, okay, sorry, okay, ini pun t-test, cuma ini akan jadi A, ini jadi B lah, okay, ini akan jadi B, ini pula C, okay, maknanya ini hipotesis A, hipotesis B, hipotesis C, okay, and then tengoklah kalau perlu D lah untuk gender, okay, and then untuk ANOVA pula pun sama. Katakan dalam kes ANOVA tadi tu kita tengok pada academic school, okay, remember yang atas tadi untuk ANOVA kita tengok tadi, katakan different academic school or different districts, for example, tengoklah tengok pada group apa yang you all nak ambil, or for example different level of income or different income level ke atas faktor-faktor dalam Likert skill tersebut. So the same thing here, okay, you akan continue kan. Okay, so now it becomes HO alternate null hypothesis D, okay, alternate hypothesis D. Okay, now there is no significant difference of let's say apa tu, product risk, okay, among different school lah, I mean school, different school at COB. Okay, so now maknanya kita tengok pengaruh kesan grouping schools tu for product risk. So now you copy here. Okay, so now you are looking at product risk for menggunakan ANOVA tu, and then this one is for C, and then you ulang pula benda yang sama. Now this becomes hypothesis E pula. Okay, remember kalau you all buat 4 ANOVA testing, dia akan ada 4 lah hypothesis untuk ANOVA. Okay, so now alternate null and output. Now bukan lagi product. Let's say this one is privacy risk pula. Actually ulang balik benda sama. Ini tadi ada financial risk kan. Okay, ni pula akan jadi financial risk. Okay, ni pun financial risk. So what you are doing is basically repeating the hypothesis for each of the test yang you all buat. Kalau ada 4 t-test untuk gender, maka akan ada A, B, C, D lah. Okay. And then the same goes to ANOVA. Kalau you all buat 4 ANOVA testing untuk setiap faktor tu, then akan ada 4 lah hypothesis. Okay. E, F, G, H ke D, E, F, G ke whatever. So dalam kes ni, okay, katakan untuk ANOVA kita melihat kepada faktor schools, okay, product risk, financial risk, let's say lepas tu pula apa tu lain-lain lah, okay, privacy risk misalnya, okay, and then it become HOF, H1F. So akan ada beberapa hypothesis untuk ANOVA, beberapa hypothesis untuk t-test. Okay. And lastly, untuk your apa tu correlation test tu, RQ number 4 tadi, ingat tadi, RQ number 4 kita melihat kepada Pearson correlation analysis. Okay, correlation kita tengok kepada kesemua faktor serentak. Does financial risk, privacy, safety risk, product risk have significant relationship with consumer behavior? Okay, maknanya kalau you ada 5 Likert scale, nak tengok ada tak kesan kepada kesemua faktor tu, okay, dalam you all punya Likert scale. Okay, dalam kes ni kenapa dengan consumer behavior? Because consumer behavior ni ialah the dependent variable. That's why sudah ni letak, adakah faktor IV ni ada tak hubungan signifikan dengan consumer behavior, which is the dependent variable. Tapi kalau you all tak ada DV dengan IV, tak perlu buat macam ni, just lah kata tak apalah kalau as long as boleh menunjukkan you all nak melihat kepada faktor ni lah, faktor relationship ni menggunakan Pearson tu lah, okay, Pearson correlation tu. Okay. So yang keempat ni ialah melihat kepada Pearson correlation. So how do you write the hypothesis for this? Okay. Yang ni lebih simple sikit. Satu saja hypothesis untuk melihat kepada correlation. Contoh dekat sini, there is no significant relationship. Now and dia punya alternate, there is significant relationship. Okay. Between all of the factors, between financial, consumer risk and consumer behavior. Meaning you are looking at all of these factors secara serentak. Okay. Secara serentak maknanya H0 ni tak ada relationship. H1 alternate hypothesis ada relationship among all of the Likert scale factors yang you all buat tu. Okay. So ini mudah sikit untuk correlation, because correlation you can do all at once. Tak perlu buat satu test berasingan. Okay. Tak macam ANOVA dengan t-test, kamu kena ada different hypothesis untuk setiap faktor. Okay, financial risk satu hypothesis. Okay, because each of these require one separate test. Satu t-test untuk gender financial risk, satu lagi t-test untuk gender dan juga privacy risk dan juga seterusnya. Sama juga dengan ANOVA, satu ANOVA untuk product risk, satu ANOVA untuk financial risk dan begitu juga seterusnya. Okay. Tapi untuk untuk ini tak boleh saya buang sini, you all confused pula. Okay. Maksud saya ni between Likert scale B, C, D define lah. So katakan maknanya ini tadi lah. Okay. Kalau you all ada, so yang ni untuk correlation test. Okay. CORR. Okay. Ini untuk correlation test macam ni. So only one hypothesis untuk correlation test. Dia tak macam ANOVA dengan t-test. Ada beberapa hypothesis yang berasingan. So untuk Pearson, bagi menjawab research question number 4 tu, RQ4, you only need one hypothesis. Okay. The null hypothesis should be there is no significant relationship among all of the variables. H1, the alternate hypothesis, there is significant relationship among all of the variables. Okay. So that will be the apa tu, the hypothesis testing or the hypothesis punya statement at the end of your chapter number 2. So I want to see something like this lah. Okay, ada beberapa hypothesis untuk t-test ke atas gender, okay, and ada beberapa hypothesis menggunakan ANOVA, okay, based on what groupings that you choose for your project, okay, different school ke, income level ke, CGPA ke, what not, okay. So, and then the last hypothesis will be on the correlation test, okay. So next, apa tu, bila you all write your ni lah, your method tu, chapter number 3, dia mesti ada lah t-test, dia mesti ada ANOVA, dia juga mesti ada correlation. Sebab correlation ni untuk menggunakan kaedah bagi menjawab RQ number 4 tadi tu. Okay, ini you all boleh pakai lah. Ini dalam thesis lain pun ada juga. Mana-mana thesis yang ada correlation analysis, you can find some similar table like this. Kalau nilai dia antara 0.7 to 1 is very strong, and between this value is very weak and whatnot. Okay, so chapter number 4 tu will be how you want to write your analysis. So this is important for your individual punya assessment. Okay, because individual punya assessment is based on how you present your chapter 4. Okay, so I just give you a sample from last semester. This is not the best one. Okay, I mean, this is not the only one that you can follow. There are different ways for you to present your output in a more interesting way, lebih cantik, lebih mudah dipahami dan sebagainya. So this is not the only way for you to do. Okay, so just refer to other thesis, other journals, how you can present your output in the best way possible. Okay, untuk demographic faktor dan sebagainya. Okay, and then sama juga untuk setiap Likert scale section yang you all ada. Okay, kalau you all ada 4 Likert scale sections, you all juga boleh summarize the output macam ni. Apakah mean untuk setiap komponen dalam Likert scale tersebut. Okay, kalau ada, let's say dalam kes ni, ini untuk financial risk punya section, dia ada summary, and then you can repeat lah. Okay, kalau ada 4 Likert scale sections, you all akan ada 4 table untuk setiap item tu, apakah dia punya mean, apakah dia punya standard deviation. Okay, so this one you can do lah. Okay, saya tak pernah ajar student macam ni nak buat. Okay, dia orang figure out sendirilah how to calculate the mean and standard deviation. Okay, using SPSS. Okay, so apa tu? Okay, and then the analysis part. Okay, so remember when you want to write your analysis for the t-test. Okay, so you must have, sebelum letak t-test punya output, you all kena tulis dulu lah apa dia hypothesis yang you all pakai tadi dekat bahagian chapter 2 tadi tu. Okay, HOA for example, no significant difference between consumer behavior. Ini satu faktor. And then alternate ada difference. Okay, and then kalau ada 4 t-test, satu consumer behavior, and then satu lagi privacy risk, financial risk, whatever. Okay, untuk if you doing something on that, and then kena ulang lah apa dia punya hypothesis, and then followed by the results and also the interpretation. Okay, so apa yang berlaku last semester, pelajar bila dia tak buat cara macam ni, tapi dia hanya buat cara macam ni. Ini cara yang banyak pelajar buat, which is apa yang diorang banyak ikut dalam tesis-tesis yang sebelum ni. Okay, sebab tesis tersebut bukan tesis ekonomi. Jadi mungkin cara mereka menulis dia punya tesis agak different lah. Okay, so for example, when you write this way, there is a significant difference. So this one is actually referring to the alternate hypothesis. Okay, if you look at this statement here, it is the same as this one, which is by right, this is the alternate hypothesis. Okay, so if you look at this finding here, p-value 0.5, which is more than 5% or 10%. So meaning that you cannot reject the null hypothesis. Bila tak boleh reject, maknanya tak ada significant difference lah. Okay, kalau reject H0 means you are supporting H1. H1 means ada a significant difference. So if you look at this one, okay, how the student wrote the penerangan, dia agak confusing. Okay, the p-value is 0.58. You can see here 0.5 for kejap tadi 0 point yang ikut 0 point mana dia this one. Okay, 0.518 dia punya p-value. Okay, so 0.518 is the p-value which is higher than 5%. So you cannot reject the null hypothesis. Bila tak boleh reject means ada significant different, but the student put here H1 hypothesis 1 is rejected. Okay, maksud dia bila dia reject ada significant means tak ada significant lah. Dia terbalik, tapi dia benda ni dia confusing because dalam hypothesis testing when you mention the word reject, you are referring to rejecting the null hypothesis. Kamu tak sebut reject alternate. Okay, you only the word reject or do not reject always go back to what is your null hypothesis. That's what you learn in the pengantar stat dulu. Pengantar statistics you all belajar. Okay, reject or do not reject is based on the null hypothesis. Kalau kamu reject null hypothesis, you are supporting the alternate hypothesis. If you do not reject the null hypothesis, meaning that you cannot support the alternate hypothesis. That's it. So, bila dalam kes macam ni, means that you cannot reject the null hypothesis. So, the conclusion is there is no significant different. Okay. So, ini dah betul lah. There is no different. Tetapi statement ni yang terbalik. Dia mengelirukan sebab dia merujuk kepada statement this one. Okay. So, in term of writing why, that's why I change here. This is what I want you to write in your chapter 4, in your analysis. If the p-value is more than 10% or more than 5%, okay, meaning that if you cannot reject, okay, you say that the null hypothesis of no significant cannot be rejected, okay. Therefore, we conclude that there is no significant. So actually, this part should come last lah, okay. Okay, after this, okay. So you cannot reject means that there is no significant difference. Okay, so this is how you should present your t-test ataupun ANOVA. Sama juga, okay. Whether if the p-value is lower than 5%, mean that you can reject. If it is higher, then you cannot reject. Kalau cannot reject means there is no significant difference lah. Okay, gender ke ataupun academic school level ke. So this is one example for you to apply to the rest of the test. T-test ataupun ANOVA, sama saja cara you all nak come out with the conclusion. So do not follow kaedah thesis yang you all nampak dalam Google Drive, okay, because that approach dia tak salah tapi dia bertentangan ataupun tak selari dengan apa yang you all dah belajar dulu. Okay, reject or do not reject must be based on the null hypothesis. That's why you all kena tulis apa dia null, apa dia alternate. Okay, so once you state this way, then it is clear what is your H0, what is your H1. So if you say do not reject, means do not reject H0. If you say reject, means rejecting the null hypothesis, okay, meaning that you are supporting H1 lah. Okay, so I'm not going to teach you statistics here because you already learned before. Okay, so I took the assignment from last semester, so I did this modification so that you can understand this is the correct way to present, okay, according to our style of writing lah dalam bidang ekonomi. Okay, so this is the layout of the t-test, okay, that you can follow lah. Okay, sama juga. So meaning that you are going to have around 3 to 4 t-tests. Okay, sebab kalau kamu tengok kepada 4 faktor gender tu, then akan ada 4 different t-test based on what you write in your hypothesis tadi lah dekat chapter 2 tadi. Okay, sama juga dengan ANOVA. Kalau ada 4 F-test ataupun ANOVA testing, maka akan ada 4 output dah yang berbeza. Okay, so sama juga dekat sini. Kalau dalam kes ni, if you look at the finding, still cannot reject, okay, because the p-value is 0.48, which is higher than 5%. So you can, so dalam kemo sama juga, the student put reject, okay, but it's supposed to be the null hypothesis of no significant cannot be rejected. Okay, bila tak boleh reject means there is no significant different lah. Okay, so this should come second. Okay, so peringkat awal you mention whether you reject or do not reject. Secondly, then you come out with the conclusion. Okay, bila tak reject, apa maksud dia? Ataupun bila kamu reject, apa maksud dia? Okay, so ini output untuk F-test menggunakan menggunakan ANOVA. Okay, and lastly on the Pearson correlation. Okay, again go back to your chapter 2 just now, how you wrote your hypothesis construct tu, sentence tu. Okay, HO, the null, there is no significant relationship between all of the variables Okay, and then the H1, there is significant relationship between all of the variables in your Likert scale section. Okay, cuma pelajar ni dia pecah-pecah kan, dia tengok financial dengan consumer, dia tengok pula privacy dengan consumer. Okay, by right you can do under one table, you can just combine under one table. Okay, all of the variables you can analyze secara serentak. Okay, I put it here in the file here this way. Okay, so you can have one table like this, whereby under one table you can look at entrepreneurial punya faktor and the hubungan between each of the variable. Okay, so this can be, you can follow this style as well. Of course, this is slightly different tajuk. Ini tentang entrepreneurial intention. Okay, so intention ni I think is a dependent variable. Okay, niat menjadi usahawan are influenced by these three factor. So maknanya you can you can look at the thesis in the Google Drive. So this one I took from the Google Drive. Okay, which tajuk saya tak ingat, but it's something to do on the entrepreneurial intention. Okay, sorry. So this one I think you can find in the Google Drive which thesis under yang buat tentang entrepreneurial intention ni. Okay, cari tajuk tu and you can find this table lah. Okay, and how the student actually interpret this way. Okay, so I want you to do this is how you should actually, this is much simpler way than buat asing-asing macam ni. Macam pelajar semester lepas, saya pun tak pernah ajar, dia orang buat sendiri, dia orang tengok mana thesis dah. Okay, ini tak salah, cuma agak panjang lah, lebih menyusahkan. Ini lebih mudah. Okay, you can combine under one table and you can interpret the relationship between the variables under one under one table. Okay, much simpler this way. Okay, and finally the conclusion the conclusion is okay, not really that long, maybe 2-3 muka surat pun sudah cukup. Just summarize what are the main findings that you get from your analysis and perhaps a short section on the policy implication. Okay, kesan polisi. Contohnya pada kerajaan, okay, pada pihak pengurusan. Kalau fokus kamu ialah dalam bidang UUM, maybe the policy implication is on the management of UUM lah. How should UUM use this information, the management of UUM, okay, use this information to improve the student punya well-being or the whatever lah. Okay, kalau you all buat tentang consumer behavior misalnya, tentang penduduk Kedah misalnya, so the policy implication is more on the government side lah, kerajaan tempatan, kerajaan negeri. Okay, so you can also, so depending on what is the scope of your project. Kalau scope you all hanya fokus kepada pelajar IPTA, pelajar UM, then the policy implication will be related to the management of the university. Okay, vice versa lah. So if the focus is on kerajaan, penduduk dekat Kedah ke, Pulau Pinang ke, Selangor ke, meaning melibatkan orang luar, then it will be more related to the government lah, kerajaan tempatan ataupun kerajaan persekutuan. Okay, so again, that part, I think there's a lot of thesis that you can refer to, how the student write in terms of the policy implication. Just a short, maybe 1 or 2 paragraph should be enough. Because in writing a thesis or writing a journal, academic writing, policy implication is very important. Maknanya you all buat study ni bukan syok-syok sendiri sahaja. Dia mesti ada kesan kepada penggubal polisi, okay, policy makers. So bukan simply buat for the sake of suka-suka nak buat kajian. So when it comes to chapter 5, one of the important component will be the policy implication. So if you look at the thesis, okay, in the Google Drive, you should find, okay, most of the thesis mesti ada policy implication lah. Okay, any question? Macam biasa, you all semua senyap, tak tahulah you all dengar ke tak dengar. Okay, tentang how to do this in the SPSS. Okay, saya akan buat maybe another video. Okay, maybe that might cover our lecture on inilah hari Rabu ni. Sama ada kita buat hari Rabu tu juga ataupun saya buat recorded video pada hari esoknya juga, hari Khamis ke, sebab Rabu tengah hari biasanya saya tak minat kelas tengah hari sebab saya ada banyak urusan nak kena settle. Waktu sama ada makan ke, and saya ada kadang-kadang saya ada meeting pada pukul jam sebelum tu, and then akan lajak sampai tengah hari. Okay, that's why lunch class saya tak berapa prefer lah, tapi tak apa. Concentrate on the construct of your RQ, RO, your hypothesis, okay, and how you and then actually video macam mana nak menggunakan pakai t-test and also the F10 saya dah bagi dah pun link yang from the last semester. Okay, tapi kalau nak juga saya boleh buat another short video, okay, maybe on untuk kelas pada hari Rabu ni. Okay, not really that difficult to do. Okay, so and then I think once we have finished that, you can start doing your analysis. And tengoklah kalau tak perlu buat kelas pada minggu hadapan, you all just focus on menulis you all punya thesis lah bagi habis. Okay, dan juga preparation for your video presentation. Sebab sekarang dah tinggal, I think tak lama dah, lebih kurang dalam 4 minggu lagi sebelum you all habis kuliah, okay, untuk semester ni. Okay, so I'll put this video on YouTube. Once the video is ready lah dalam Webex, okay, I will transfer into YouTube, and then I will put the link in your OL and also in your WhatsApp group.